There was a lot of stuff that came out of the schedule release, and people. This is Kerry. You know this as a football player. People just make up stories in the NFL, like the idea that they're going to pick a team's record, not knowing who's going to be playing, who's injured, and all this kind of stuff, like because they wanted to have something to talk about. So somehow somebody, I don't know, Rob G, who you can explain more, looked at the Bengals record and decided what, Rob G?
Well, it wasn't people. It was odds makers, and the algorithms have already came out and decided who should be favored in every single game this upcoming season before any games have been played.
Kerry, without knowing who's playing, injuries.
I'm going to text Lamar Mitchell, BetMGM, and say, Rob Parker thinks you're stupid for trying to pick these games. It's week 18 odds already. I don't like it.
Right.
But in any event, the odds makers have already determined who should be favored in every single game. The prediction markets have already come out and said, here's what we think is most likely to happen across all of these games across the entire season. Mm-hmm. And according to the odds makers, Joe Burrow's Cincinnati Bengals are currently favored in 15 games this season. That'd be the most games the Bengals have been favored.
Look at that. Even Kerry can't even believe what you
franchise
just
history.
What?
The only team who is currently favored in more games this season before week 1 has even been played is the LA Rams at 16.
Wow. Even the Rams being favored in 16. And I love the Rams, but you can't pick that, and you cannot predict that. And for them to say the Bengals?
But here's my issue. Did they fix the defense? Because you know what? I saw, Kerry, was it last year, 2 years ago? Or I think it was 2 years ago. I saw Joe Burrow throw 9 touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens in 2 games. Yep. 9 touchdowns.
Yep.
And didn't win 1 game.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, yeah. Yeah.
You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Like he played great.
Yep.
He played great.
Yep.
And Lamar threw 8 touchdowns, and you know what I mean? And they still won. And my point is, the defense to me isn't fixed. Is it fixed? Rob G, talk about the real quick off-season. Yeah, they made a trade. They got a big player, right? But didn't they lose a big player?
Yes, they did. So last month, before the draft, the Bengals traded the number 10 overall pick to the Giants for star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. He's got a good resume.
Yep.
The only problem is he's coming off his worst season in his career where he had career lows in sacks and tackles.
That's why he was expendable. Okay?
And on top of that, while they added Dexter Lawrence, they lost Trey Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're adding him to this defense. And even if they had added him to the defense, this is what the Bengals had defensively going last season. Last season, the Bengals ranked 31st in total defense, 30th in scoring defense, and at one point, they allowed at least 27 points and at least 350 total yards across 8 straight games, a mark which had never been seen before in the history of the NFL. What's worse, Pro Football Focus had the Bengals as the NFL's 3rd worst tackling team in the league. 3 of the top 8 worst tacklers all played for the Bengals. And here's the last one. Jamar Chase, who is a wide receiver, he plays on offense, had as many solo tackles, 5, as their first-round rookie defensive end Shamar Stewart.
That is unbelievable.
Stewart, by the way, had the lowest rating in Pro Football Focus among 116 qualified edge defenders.
Is that good or bad, Rob G?
That's terrible.
Oh, okay.
I just don't see it. I know people, look, I get the Joe Burrow love and what he was able to do. Remember, he got hurt his first year, Kerry. Mm-hmm. The second year he comes back, leads that franchise to a Super Bowl. We know the history. Marvin Lewis, when he was there, had a good Bengals team.
Yep.
They lost 7 straight playoff games eventually, right? He got fired. They just couldn't win a playoff game. He comes along and changes everything, okay? And I know he's been banged up or whatnot, but I'm sorry, the last few years, that team's defense, despite all of the offense that they have and the receivers and Joe Burrow and whatnot, I must be missing something because I just don't have that feel that the Bengals are going to be doing, what people think that they should be favored in 15 out of 17 games and and I'm expecting big things from them. I really don't. Where are you on the Bengals?
How can you expect big things from the Bengals? They start out slow every year. So
they're usually 0-3 or 1-4, 1-3.
Every year they're behind the 8 ball, and that's even with Joe Burrow. Like that's his time there as well. This team is a notoriously slow starting team. So for them to be favored in the 15 games doesn't even make sense from that aspect alone. Then you factor in the defense. The defense is atrocious, and you get rid of their best defensive player, and you bring in a guy that came off a down year, so you're hoping and you're probably expecting him to play better, but he plays inside. He's not going to lead the team in sacks. He's not going to be a huge difference maker. Now, if he was brought in and you had Trey Hendrickson on the edge, then we're talking about something totally different. But right now, they're still trying to find that guy that has some type of cachet that can be a factor coming off the edge and getting after the quarterback. So they're not going to be able to stop anybody, again, unless they improve a little bit, but they would have to improve a lot to even be a mediocre defense. So to think they're going to win all 15 of these games by just outscoring teams, it's just not going to happen. So I don't like it at all. And I'm with you, Rob. All these preseason things and all these preseason polls are just, it's entertainment. It has no real merit to it.
It's just mind-boggling to me. I get it. They want to try to keep the NFL going and alive, but I'm just,
of course,
Kerry, sitting around talking about who's going to win in Week 15 of the NFL season. Like I just scratch my head and look at people, and I'm like, dude, if you got kids, take your kid to the park. Like, just can you help an elderly neighbor? Can you read to a kid or something? Like
go put your toes in some grass and just chill out for a bit.
Right. Like, it's okay. September will be here before you know it. You can dive deep into football and all that. Dude, Kerry, nobody was a bigger football fan than me when I was in high school. No, nobody.
I remember, yeah.
I wouldn't work. I was a shoe salesman at a shoe store at the Queen Center Mall in New York. I told my boss, Shelly Zimmerman, I don't work on Sundays during football season. Can you imagine being 17 years old?
Yeah.
16 years old, telling your boss you don't work on Sundays?
To go watch the Jets. Look at you. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
No.
I used to look over at my mom at church. It would be like, Kerry, our house was like walking distance from church. Look over, give her the look. She'd go like 10 minutes to 1 kickoff. I wanted to see kickoff. I couldn't go after. If the minister went long, a Baptist church, you know what I'm saying? I might be there all day.
Yep.
I would look over at her. I'd be like, can I go?
Really?
She would go.
Mom was good with it?
She was good with it.
Yeah.
My mom was the best.
Oh, I love it.
Go. She knew how important it was. I had to see the kickoff. You know what I mean, Kerry? I don't want to get there with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. No. I needed to see the kickoff.
I love that.
And so as much, and that's what I'm saying, as much as I love football, like when I was in high school, like of that ilk, I just think it's ridiculous. And if the Bengals are that good, I'll be the first one to admit that I was wrong, but I just don't see it defensively. We know what they can do offensively.
Of course.
It's not an issue about that. It's about defensively.
It's defensively.
It's about defensively.
It's defensively, Rob, and health as well.
Yep. Rob G, what you got?
I was going to say, it's not even just the defense. That's just the problem, because you talk about Burrow and Chase and Higgins and Chase Brown. And they have weapons galore. They could score.
Yeah.
And the defense is terrible. But here's the other thing. They have one of the worst offensive, if not the worst offensive line in football, despite investing $100 million amongst 2 receivers and a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Bengals had the number 28 ranked offensive line last season.
Oh, wow.
Joe Burrow has been sacked 213 times in 77 career games. Just for context, Andrew Luck was sacked 174 times in 86 games, and his beating was so bad he went to early retirement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why Joe Burrow was saying back in December, I don't know how much I'm loving football right now.
Yeah.
I'm not having fun anymore. We'll see how long I want to do this.
Yep.
Yeah, and rightfully so. When you get beat up at that, and Kerry, you know this.
Yes, I do, brother.
You know, like, and especially as a quarterback, where these big dudes are coming at you and slamming you down, to the field or
And Rob, they playing this new softer era, and they still getting beat up. So imagine
exactly
that time.
You know, the old days was really like people got. I remember going back to those high school days I was talking about when they had to implement in the grasp.
Yep.
Do you remember that? You know what that is, Kerry?
Of course, yeah.
In the grasp, where you could just grab a jersey of a quarterback and that would count as a sack if you just grabbed his jersey.
Yep.
Because there was so many quarterbacks who had gotten hurt, the league was panicked.
Yep.
Like nobody wants to see backup quarterbacks, and like all these star quarterbacks got hurt, so they came up with in the grasp. If they grabbed that jersey, it was a sack, and that's how they did it.
Yep.
Crazy.
All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.